be on another
Yeah,
level. Yeah, and it's going to keep going, and that's the real concern when people think about the potential future versions of human beings, especially when you consider symbiotic relationship to artificial intelligence, it will be unrecognizable. That one day we'll be so far removed from what this is. We'll look back on this the way we look back now on, simple organisms that we evolved from. And then it won't be that far in the future that we do have this view back.
Well, I hope consciousness propagates into the future and gets more sophisticated and complex, and that it understands the questions to ask about the universe.
Do you think that's the case? As a human being, as yourself, you're clearly trying to make conscious decisions to be a better version of you, right? This is the idea of like getting rid of your possessions and realizing that you're trying to, like, I don't like this. I will try to improve this. I will try to do a better version of the way I interface with reality. That this is always the way things are. If you're moving in some sort of a direction where you're trying to improve things, you're always going to move into this new place where you look back in the old place and go, I was doing it wrong back then. So this is an accelerated version of that, a super accelerated version of that.
I mean, you don't always improve, but you can aspire to improve. You can aspire to be less wrong.
Yeah.
This is like, I think the tools of physics are very powerful. Like, just assume you're wrong and your goal is to be less wrong. I don't think you're going to, if you succeed every day in being less wrong, but, if you're going to succeed in being less wrong, most of the time you're doing great.
That's a great way of putting it. Aspire to be less wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But then when, people look back in nostalgia about simpler times, there's that too. It's very romantic and exciting to look back on campfires.
But you can still have a campfire.
Yes.
Yeah.
But will you appreciate it when you're a super nerd, when you're connected to the grid and you have some skull cap in place of the top of your head and it's interfacing with the international language that the rest of the universe now enjoys communication with people? And we're...
Yeah, sure. I think so. Yeah, I like campfires.
I'm just worried. I mean, everyone's always scared of change, but I'm scared of this monumental change where we won't talk anymore. I mean, that thing
We'll
that you
communicate.
just... Yes, but there's something about the beauty of the crudeness of language, where when it's done eloquently, it's satisfying and it hits us in some sort of a visceral way. Like, that person nailed it. I love that they nailed it. Like that, it's so hard to capture a real thought and convey it in a way, in this articulate way that makes someone excited. Like you read a great quote by a wise person, it makes you excited that their mind figured something out, put the words together in a right way that makes your brain pop. Like, oh yes, yes.
A clever compression of a concept.
Yeah.
And a feeling.
But the fact that a human did it too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think that it'll be like electronic music? Like people won't appreciate it like they appreciate a slide guitar?
I like electronic music.
I do too.
Yeah.
Well, you make it. I know you like it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I hope the future is more fun and interesting, and we should try to make that way.
I hope it's more fun and interesting too.
Yeah.
I just hope we don't lose anything along the way.
Yeah, we might lose a little, but
this,
hopefully we gain more than we lose.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Gaining more than we lose. Like something that makes us interesting is that we're so flawed.
Some for sure. Like,
right.
I mean, you look at civilizations through the ages. Most of them, they rose and fell.
Yeah.
And I do think like the globalization that we have at the sort of like the meme sphere is there's not enough isolation between countries or regions. It's like if there's a mind virus, that mind virus can infect too much of the world. Like I actually sort of sympathize with the anti-globalization people because it's like, man, we don't want everyone everywhere to be the same for sure, and then we need some kind of like mind viral immunity. So That's a bit concerning.
Mind viral immunity, meaning that once something like Neuralink gets established, the real concern is something that, I mean, you said it's Bluetooth, right? Or
Sure.
some future version of
Yeah.
that. That the idea is that something could possibly get into it, fuck it up.
No, I'm talking about like somebody. There's some cockeyed concept that yeah, that happens right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Well, I know
Uh,
there's viruses in embedded chips, right? Like people they've embedded
yeah.
chips and then acquired viruses.
Well, when I'm talking about a mind virus, I'm talking about like a concept that
Okay.
infects people's minds.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. Like cult thinking or
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
sort of fundamentalism.
Yeah. Just a wrong-headed idea that just
Yes.
goes viral in an idea sense. You know.
Mm. Well, that is a problem too, right? If someone can manipulate that technology to make something appear logical or rational,
Yeah. Yeah.
that would that be an issue too? With this is a very have versus have not issue, right? Once this thing, if this really does, I mean, initially it's going to help people with injuries, but you said ultimately it could lead to this spectacular cognitive change.
Yes.
But the people that first get it should have a massive advantage over people that don't have it yet.
Well, I mean, it's the kind of thing where your productivity would improve, I don't know, dramatically, maybe by a factor of 10 with it. So you could definitely just, you know, I don't know, take out a loan and do it and earn the money back real fast.
Yeah.
Be super smart.
Well, in a capitalist society, you know, it seems like you could really get so far ahead that before everybody else could afford this thing and link up and get connected as well, you'd be so far ahead they could never catch you. Is that a concern?
Well, I think it's not a super huge concern. I mean, there are huge differences in cognitive ability and resources already.
Yeah.
I mean, you can think of a corporation as like a cybernetic collective that's far smarter than an individual. Like I couldn't personally build like a whole rocket and the engines and launch it and everything. That's impossible. But you know, we have 8,000 people at SpaceX, and you know, by piecing it out to different people and using like computers and machines and stuff, we can make lots of rockets launch into orbit, dock with the space station, that kind of thing. So that already exists where there's corporations are vastly more capable than an individual. But like we should be, I think, less concerned about like relative capabilities between people and more like having AI be vastly beyond us and decoupled from human will.